Miss Marvel is going to be the next series up after Moon Knight. First trailer just came out, getting some mixed reactions, mostly around the depowering, or not, maybe let's call it power swapping, right? Maybe not necessarily depowering, but power swapping. A lot of people speculating as to why that's happening. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's really just to differentiate the visuals with Reed Richards, because Mr. Fantastic, when he comes through, he's the one that's going to be able to
He gonna be the stretchy
stretch
guy.
and be Stretch Armstrong and, do all that. So I think they just didn't want to have them doing the same thing. So they basically turned her into Green Lantern almost with these
Man,
projections or whatever. I mean, I'm interested though, like just to see where this goes because, to me, the fact that they're giving her amulets or something or bracelets, I'm like, did that come from the Eternals? Like, is that, did Fastos make those? Or,
yeah.
is there what is up with like this family lineage? Were they heroes and stuff in the past and we just didn't know about it? Like, those are the kind of things I want to see if they explore. But I think it's really just the visuals. They just didn't want to, and it makes better toys if you think about it. Now you got accessories that you could put on, and Marvel is all about, the movies are great, but it's the merchandise where the real money is. So I think that was also pushing that decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with Mr. Fantastic getting ready to pop up. I thought there was a little parody there. My I guess my problem isn't necessarily the visual of it, it's the amulet. It's like, well, so is she not actually powerful, or is it literally like a Green Lantern bracelet? Like that's my issue with it, is that, like, why doesn't she have a genuine power? I guess we'll have to look and see and wait to see the show.
I think the one property, and I want to say Marvel Studios actually pushed this, but the one thing that they failed at was Inhumans. And in the comics, she was an Inhuman.
He's a human. Yeah.
So since they still have not resurrected Inhumans at all, I guess they're just like, you know what? We just gonna have to give her external powers, which kind of sucks because now it's kind of like, what happened if them amulets break or somebody takes them off her wrist? Like,
somebody smack them amulets off your hands.
She's popped at that point. So I don't know how that gonna work out for him.
Yeah, man. And honestly, shout out to Chillmonger. We have a friend of the channel who did a live stream over it, and I believe he's of Muslim faith, and he really took exception to it. And so I've been seeing that sentiment more and more, that, like, she didn't get her original power set. So I'm obviously we're gonna wait until the show comes out to judge it totally, but it's just an interesting tidbit there. What do you think about the Okoye series that just recently got announced?
Oh, I'm with it. Look, I will take whatever they want to do, especially as a series, because my guess is that if they're doing an Okoye series, that probably means she's like doing something solo. And if she's doing something solo, my guess is that she's not part of the Dora Milaje at that point.
Probably because she got fired.
Huh?
Probably because she got fired. You can't lose two kings and still have your job.
I mean, maybe it's possible. Like, it's possible. I mean, she had one job.
And you failed twice. You failed 2 times.
So yeah, I mean, that could definitely be it. But I forgot what it was called. Damn, it was something like Midnight Sisters or something like that. Damn it, I forgot. I'm sorry. But it was like something, she in the comics, she went off and had like another espionage group or whatever of like former Dora Milaje or whatever. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they kind of went off and did with her. But I'm with it. My thing though is, especially if it's a Disney Plus series, as much as I like Okoye, because of the nature of her character, you're gonna have to put in some team ups or some cameos in there to make it a little bit more entertaining. And this is one of the weaknesses, I would say, that ends up happening with Marvel. They try and make it work, but sometimes they dig in the barrel so much, they go all the way to the bottom of the barrel that it's like they'll put something up and it's hard for it to stand on its own two legs. I mean, there's a reason why it had to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because if it was just Falcon by himself, that show would have been lacking.
Oh,
I would agree.
Great. It's gonna lead me to my next question. It's gonna lead me to my next question. What acting school should Anthony Mackie re-enroll in?
Look, I wouldn't say he needs to go because he came from Juilliard and he likes to remind people of that. My thing is just more so it's about role selection, and that he might need a better agent in that case, because it's not like he can't act. It's just the fact that some roles are just not meant for him. Because I would say when he did his role in Black Mirror, perfect. Like, it was a perfect opportunity for him. Granted, he didn't have to stretch himself very much, but it was still a really good role, and he did that perfectly. But him playing Tupac.
Hey, yo, check it out. I'm Tupac.
I knew he was going to mention
Luther King Jr. Like, bro, give it that a rest. Put that down. Like, nah, that ain't it.
Quick follow up. Are there any gatekeeper anonymous meetings that you could suggest to him in Chicago that he can get to, but behind his nobody else can play T'Challa statements? Could you, maybe we can help him get some assistance? We can collaborate on that and find him some meetings.
I've just, as I've told everybody, don't put a lot of weight on what anybody under contract says about the company that signed their checks. Like, wait until that contract expires. Wait until they a couple years removed and they're not legally bound to say any criticism. So even when he would say certain things, him, Angela Bassett, Lupita, I don't pay none of them no mind until after they're out their contracts and they can't get sued by Kevin Feige. Then I'll give them a little more weight.
Look at you over here caping for Anthony Mackie on the platform, man.
I ain't say I was caping for him. I just said
pop
anyone.
in the chat and tell everybody you was on our platform caping for Anthony Mackie.
Here we go.
I'm like, he faking, y'all. He really loved Anthony. Nah. Give us your give me your top three, or no, just rank the Phase 4 MCU films, not including No Way Home, because that don't count. That's cheating. So Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals. Is that it? Yes, that have come out in Phase 4 so far.
Shang-Chi is definitely the best one out of all of them. I guess I'd put Black Widow after that, and then Eternals just was not popping to me. Like, it just wasn't hitting. I mean, it tried, but I just did not care. It was way too long. I didn't really care about the characters because there were so many of them. Yeah. Didn't care about the relationship that they were trying to force on us. Like, it just, it was an okay movie, but it just did not work. Black Widow was a little too late. It just didn't have enough to make me care about that story that happened a long time ago. Should have came out like in Phase 3. If we really, like, right after Civil War, we should have gotten Black Widow. That's when it would have mattered. And that would have been a dope lead up for Infinity War too, if we had gotten it beforehand. But Shang-Chi, to me, like, I just rewatched it not too long ago. Them action scenes are like some of the best things I've seen in Marvel, like, to date, like, especially with the soundtrack and everything. So, like, that's it. But if we're talking about what's coming up, I still think Doctor Strange is gonna kill all of them. And I have no idea what to expect with Thor. We haven't even gotten a trailer yet for it. And Black Panther, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's gonna be a very interesting one because I think a lot of people are gonna want to see it. A lot of people are gonna want to know what's gonna happen in it, but I don't know if it's gonna have the same energy that brought people back to theaters multiple times. That's the thing that I'm concerned about. Where it'll make like $700-800 million, maybe even $1 billion, but is it gonna do that repeat value to get to 1.3 or more? I don't know. That's what Spider-Man did. Spider-Man had people coming back multiple times. That's why I hit 1.6.
I think that's the only movie so far post-pandemic that was able to bring that rewatch factor back to it. I wanted to do well. I don't think it crosses.
I mean, it really depends on what they do, right? So, I mean, as you know, a lot of people are not interested in watching Black Panther if they kill off T'Challa. You know, so it's kind of like, do you really want to go back to a movie that triggers you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and not a good way. Now, Marvel, I would bet money if they do kill off T'Challa, I would bet money that they're going to do the best they can to spin it, you know, kind of like in the What If series where they're like, for T'Challa, yeah, you know, and like even Kevin Feige in an interview had said like he had seen an episode of What If and was like, oh, that's great. Let's do that for Black Panther 2. So I would bet that that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to find some way to kill T'Challa, and then they're going to find some way to force whatever narrative moving forward to like dedicate everything to T'Challa and, you know, make it all about him.
Which is so bad because now in the coming phases is going to be based off the death of the king. It's going to be the death of the king arc, right? And who wants to do that?
Yeah, it's that, and that's where the trouble comes in, right? Like, you really want this guy's death to be his legacy? Like, all he's done is died in the MCU. Almost died in Black Panther, died in Infinity War. Now you potentially will kill him a third time. Like, that's all. What has T'Challa done? Like, all he did was open up Wakanda. That's it. And he fixed up 2 white guys. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not much of a legacy, because the other thing, especially if you look at the comics, a lot of the decisions T'Challa has made has come under a lot of scrutiny, you know? So like when he would do certain things, he would think it's a good thing, and Wakanda be like, oh, hell no. So are we like, and especially if you're talking about opening up Wakanda, that means now that people know you rich, oh, we coming for you. You know, that so like, again, is that the legacy that we want to leave with him? I don't know.
Let me ask you this. So you've always been vocal about the fact that recasting T'Challa doesn't need to happen right away, and that it could potentially happen in a Black Panther 3. What are your thoughts on the fact that, you know, so many people will probably not rush out to see Black Panther 2, and that having a negative impact on the IP as a whole?
I think they would. Well, first of all, I think from what I've heard, they doubled the budget for Black Panther 2. So the first one was like 100 million. This one is like damn near 200 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to put into a movie that ain't even got its leading star, you know, and the lead character. So I've said that they're going to throw as many shiny things at us in this movie to make it relatively successful. So I don't think it's going to be to the point where it fails, because you have to also realize there are a lot of people out there. Again, this is their first experience. Their first experience with Black Panther in general was the first movie. They don't know nothing else. So a lot of people don't know the lore, the comics, or anything else. So for them, it's still fresh territory, where if you tell us, oh, there's somebody else that's going to be Panther, they'll be okay with it, and they will still keep paying for that. But I don't know if it's going to be problematic to the point where Marvel's going to be like, oh man, you know, this didn't do enough. I think they'll chalk it up as a loss. I think they'll be like, you know what? We lost Chadwick. We lost our main character. We are going to do our best to make it more successful. But I think that they'll just be like, we messed up, or not that they messed up, but this was an asterisk. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a special circumstance. So Black Panther 3, maybe we do bring T'Challa back in a different way. And maybe after so much time, people will be cool with it. But the reason why I said, like, you know, an eventual recast is because I know that some people need more time. You know, I'm fine if they do it right now. I've been fine. I'm like, yo, just do it now. You put out the correct PR spin and you can make it work. But I also understand
3 years since Chad passed now.
It's going on it, right? You know, or 2 years right now. But you know, because y'all dug yourselves into this hole, you painted yourselves in this corner unnecessarily. because wasn't nobody asking for Black Panther 2 after hearing about Chadwick. Like, we were fine if they were to tell us, yo, we're going to push the movie back to 2023. We need some time. We don't even know if we're going to recast. Nobody would have tripped. It would have been perfectly fine. We understood, whatever. But, you know, I said that just be patient with it, because the overall goal is you don't want to stop his story. So if you mean to tell me the compromise I have to give up in not stopping his story is just waiting an extra year, I'll do that, because that's more important to me than stopping his story permanently. Yeah. So those are kind of like the trade-offs that, you know, we have to have, because at the end of the day, I still need, like, T'Challa's story still needs to be shown and portrayed, rather than any other emotional response that would include stopping his story altogether.
In watching you, going through Recast T'Challa and popping up on different platforms and stuff, I can see, at least you've communicated that this is something we're in for the long haul, right? This is long game kind of play that we're doing right now. Is there a red line for you in Disney when it comes to Black Panther? Is there an action that they could take in this movie that's above and beyond anything that you could morally support? Is there some sort of, hey, no-fly zone?
Yeah. So to the first point, yeah, there's definitely been, you know, I wanted to manage expectations, because I think a lot of times people think if you're doing a movement, it's got to be loud, flashy, and you want immediate, you know, action, kind of like with the Snyder Cut and all that stuff, you know. And by the way, even that took years, by the way, to get to, you know, because I've studied all these other movements. I've studied Black Lives Matter, defund the police, release the Snyder Cut, restore the Snyder Cut. I've looked at all these things and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take what worked and I'm gonna take what didn't work and I'm gonna try and put it into this whole movement. And because I knew we weren't gonna get like an overflow response. Again, it's an emotional situation. It's not something that everyone is going to immediately come around to. That's when I knew it was going to take time. And that's when I was like, yo, I don't want y'all to feel like if we only get 10,000 signatures in 3 months, that it's a failure. That's not the case. This is going to take time. And we're going to have ups where we're trending, we're hot, we're popping. And there's going to be times where it's low and we're not going to be the topic of discussion. And that's okay. Because the thing is, and I will say this again, the benchmarks that you can look at, you know, without unexpected things, because I couldn't predict the Letitia Wright situation or whatever. Right. You know, like that came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden we was trending because people was like, recast Shuri. Well, if you can recast Shuri, recast T'Challa, you know. Cool. But my benchmarks were always do whatever I can to get the noise going. You know, the petition was really just to get the numbers, because when you get the numbers, it gives you legitimacy to get the access, to get the articles, to get on TV, etc. Yeah. And then the trailer. When the trailer drops, that's when we're going to trend again. When the movie comes out, that's when we're going to trend again. Because what I've said is that we have to wait and see how Marvel responds. That's why they're quiet. Marvel knows exactly what's happening with Recast T'Challa. And you can't tell me that they don't know, because one, I've told them specifically. And two, when I've gone on TV, or if I was on the LA Times or Yahoo Entertainment, they contact Marvel for question. So when they like, you're going to pick up the phone. You might not answer me, but you're going to pick up the phone if the LA Times calls you and says, hey, there's this Recast T'Challa thing going on. What's up? So they are perfectly aware of it. But this is why, again, this is chess, not checkers. I've been trying to tell people, like, we're trying to create a narrative that will allow Marvel the wiggle room to work behind the scenes. This is, again, why they're being quiet. It's not because they're ignoring you. It's not because they don't, you know, listen or whatever. This is, again, as a fan, I'm trying to give them every excuse to fix what they got to fix. And I don't even care if they come out and be like, oh, yeah, we was always going to recast T'Challa. All right. Yeah. All right. Whatever. Make me look bad. Make me look bad. I will take that hit, if you want. And the trolls gonna come out and see y'all wasted y'all time. Y'all did all this. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, please.
I don't care. Make me look bad. Embarrass me, because I'll be sitting there with my popcorn watching Wakanda and T'Challa, and I'll be cool, But the red line that you talked about, I think and I've always called it the uncompromised or the unsettling compromise, which is Marvel might give us a variant. They might, eventually recast. Maybe they do time travel like they did with Loki. They might do whatever they want because it's fiction. Mm-hmm. But the uncomfortable compromise is killing T'Challa off. And killing T'Challa off, I think, is problematic. But I think the red line will be the promotion of killing him off. So if Marvel goes out of their way in their trailer, this is why I said the trailer is going to matter. If they go out of their way in their trailer and promote, the king is dead. T'Challa died. Now you have a problem on your hands because now you're actively promoting and marketing the death of a black man that you're putting as a plot device into your movie to sell tickets. Mm-hmm. That's my red line. That's where I'm going to be like, I gave y'all a year and a half advance warning not to do this because it's not going to look right. I don't care how you try and spin it. It doesn't matter. People are sensitive to the fact that Chadwick passed away. You have an artwork, you have a form of fiction, which means you could tell any other story you want. But if you sitting here prophetizing and monetizing off of this guy's death, that's a problem. So that's probably going to be something. That's where I'm in wait and watch mode right now, because I'm still going to watch it because I have a job to do as a critic. I have to do that. But if that's what they're talking about doing, and monetizing and selling it, I'm gonna do whatever I can to call them out on that. Because I've been doing it so far, but I'll make even more noise on that because that's just not cool. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see them selling movies when Stan Lee died, and saying hey, look at this, so again, this is hypothetical, but you asked what my line would be, that would be it. Don't market Black Death. We don't need that. We don't want it. As the anthem says, Black Death is a trope that we no longer want to handle. So don't and I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear, we just wanted to teach people a lesson that even your heroes can die. Cool. Kill Doctor Strange. Kill Thor. Kill somebody else. Kill Captain Marvel. Go ahead. Y'all want to surprise us. You want to say death can happen? Kill all of them.
Yeah. We won't talk about it now. We will talk about it maybe next month once some distance has gotten in between it. But there's something going on with multiple projects in Marvel right now where this is going to come up and be an issue, and they're going to have to answer it before they answer it for Recast T'Challa. So it's going to be very interesting if we're setting a standard now, or if which is one that you couldn't possibly live up to because that's insane, or we're backtracking, which looks even worse.
Listen, I told you that they painted themselves in a corner that they did not need to do. And this is why I wanted to this is why I knew Recast T'Challa was not going to be the viral sensation is make Spider-Man 3. That's something anybody can join in and you're going to get millions of votes and stuff. That's fine. But this was a pre-criticism. This is why I tell people Recast T'Challa is not a demand. It is a statement. And there's a difference between the two. A demand is do this, and that's it. The statement is this means we're telling you this is a problem no matter what happens. Whether you decide to do it or if you don't, this statement matters and it's valid. And that's why I'm saying I'm really actually trying to help Marvel. I'm really trying to help them. I'm that's how much of a fan I am to go against you, because I don't think you understand the deeper implications of what you want to do. I know what you want to do, but I'm looking beyond this movie and I'm thinking about how this is going to affect Black representation, how it's going to affect the storytelling, how it's going to affect the overall perception, you know, when it comes to Black films and stuff. There's more to that clearly was not weighed within minutes of an emotionally tragic situation that you guys were going through. You know, like I came up with my stuff to do the petition and movement in April. They made their decision in August when Chadwick passed, and then they made their announcement in December. I took more time to mull this stuff over and to think about it, and to, you know, like I even bounced the ideas from other people. Like that petition took me at least 3 weeks to craft, because I wanted to make sure like I didn't offend nobody. I wanted to make sure that everything was like really covered. It, you know, Marvel was going to take it the negative way or whatever. And I'm like, that's what happens when you let time go by, so you can have clearer minds prevail and you can have a more clear message. So yeah, I know what you're talking about with what's going to happen in the next month or so. That's definitely going to be up to them to see. Like at this point, I'm like, yo, the ball's in y'all court. I'm just here to react.
And they don't really have an out. Like either way they cut it, if they go one way, you have to explain. If you go the other way, you have to explain. So
this is why I put, because I know some people are like, man, they're gonna put you on the red carpet. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, probably not.
But I'm like, the pressure, what really needs to happen at that point is everyone needs to pressure the press, the people that do get access, Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, comicbook.com, Collider, all of them. People need to press them and be like, hey, look, y'all the ones that get the golden tickets to literally talk face to face with Kevin Feige. That might not ever happen for me. You know, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they're the ones that are going to have that access, which means they have the power to ask those questions. And if people are not pressing, like, don't go up to them and give them like some softball questions, like, how are you guys feeling now, you know, after Chadwick's passing? Like, no, that's softball. Why did you have to kill T'Challa, hypothetically? Like, why couldn't you do anything else? Like, these are legitimate questions. You know, why did you have to do this with T'Challa, but you didn't do it with, you know, another character? Are you saying that this character was more valuable than this actor? And like, y'all created this situation, and this is why you should have probably just been quiet and nobody would have judged you. But now, I'm sorry, like, you know, you put yourself out there, you're gonna get that scrutiny.